I'm in Ireland. Well, more specifically, I'm in Northern Ireland right now, but I will be in Ireland later on. It's part of my New Year's resolution is to go to new places and get out more and just kind of do more. So on the 1st of January, I flew into Dublin, and now I'm here at the Giant's Causeway. So I actually only have 4 days here in Ireland. So to maximise my time, what I'm trying to do is scout locations during the night or in the middle of the day, so that then I can have the opportunity to shoot them at sunrise and sunset. Now, I did come and scout out the Giant's Causeway last night. It was mainly me aimlessly wandering around in the dark and trying to check photo pills on my phone, to be honest. Even though I couldn't really use that time to find compositions, I did use it to find out the best way to get here, which path I need to take, and where I need to park. So it did save me a lot of time this morning. So even if you can't see a lot, I do think scouting out a location before you come to shoot really is invaluable. I think this is going to be one of my main compositions for the day. You can kind of see the pink sky in the horizon out there, and obviously a good bit of water movement with the kind of hexagonal stones in the foreground. I'm a little bit undecided whether I should be using a polarizer or not. It's a bit of a weird one because I feel like really the polarizer kind of takes away from the contrast of the rocks. So I think without it, it actually adds a bit more pop to the rocks, having that kind of shiny surface. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and stand up here just to give the image a bit of a sense of scale, and I think that will look really good. I'd say what I have been finding difficult with shooting here is really trying to convey the sense of scale. Like, you've got these incredible kind of hexagonal rocks and they're strewn everywhere. It's a big location, and often you're shooting out to sea. So without any context, you can't really tell how big it is. So what I've been doing today is actually putting myself in a lot of the images. So the first thing this morning, I actually went up these kind of columns behind me here and stood at the top with the mountain in the background. I just felt with the mountain and with me, it really helps give a scale of how big this location actually is. Little top tip for you. This access road, it's still open even if the visitor centre is closed. You can just walk around the back of the Causeway Hotel and then walk on down. It's about 15 minutes, so you can get here for sunrise or sunset after the visitor centre is closed. Once the visitor centre is open, you'll have to share the spot with buses of tourists and crowds of walkers. So this is a location where getting up early really does pay off. I think I got a couple of good pictures there, so do let me know what you think of those in the comments. But I'm on my way to another location just down the road called the Dark Hedges. I think a few of you may know it from the Game of Thrones, so I felt whilst I'm in the area, I have to go and check it out. The Dark Hedges is a distinctive avenue of beech trees, which really do make for some incredible photography. However, since its appearance in the Game of Thrones, this small road has become incredibly popular. If I'd had time, I would have revisited at sunrise to try and avoid the crowds. But I may do, and with some good timing, and to be honest, a fair bit of Photoshop, I feel like I got some good results. to scout out Fanad Lighthouse behind me for my sunset location tonight. Turned up a few hours early, just so I can kind of really work out where I want to be later on. There's this lighthouse here, and there's also a really nice sea arch about a 10-minute drive away. So I'm going to scope out both of those before the sun properly comes down. And hopefully, if I can get good shots of both of those tonight, I'll move on to another location for sunrise. But this is partly why I do all this scouting, is because I work quite like almost in a panic with photography. I kind of have short trips and try and cram a lot in, kind of the opposite of what other photographers might recommend, but I want to see how many good photographs I can get and how many different locations I can see. So I'll have a bit of a scope around and see what I can find. Now I think the key to shooting here is, what I really want a bit of separation between the rocks. So I've kind of got rocks, sea, rocks and lighthouse. So I don't want that to like blend together. I do want that kind of separation of the water in between. That's what I'm trying to scope out now and work out exactly where I need to be stood. So if it is a bit dark later on, I'm not too panicked. I know I said this was just a bit of a scout, but the light's actually really nice. So I think I'm going to go and walk through this kind of slither of light down here before it disappears, just to add myself into the shot. And I've come a little bit further back and a little bit higher up, which I think gives a bit of a better view of the actual lighthouse and just kind of sits it within its surroundings a little bit better.
These images prove how important it is to get to a location earlier than you think. It turns out that this was the best light of the evening.
I think I got a couple of nice shots there. It is about an hour until sunset, but I don't think there's going to get much light here at sunset itself. So I'm going to run around and check out that arch really quickly. I've definitely learned though, that being higher up and I think a bit further away definitely makes the lighthouse itself look a bit more interesting, or less squashed and kind of distorted by a wide angle. I actually spent so long scouting locations this afternoon that the sun's just gone down, so I probably should have started a little bit earlier. But in all honesty, I think I'm going to leave this location. I was thinking I wanted to get a shot from the top of these cliffs here, down onto the arch from above, but the trail up there is pretty steep. You've got to jump over a barbed wire fence and be on the edge of a cliff. It's pretty wet and pretty muddy up there, and I don't really fancy navigating that in the dark. And I don't think the composition is going to be all that great, given that the sun's going to kind of rise over that way. But what have we learned? Or what have I learned, I suppose, from this video? I've learned that I run around like a headless chicken. When I go to locations I've never been to before, I want to get as many photographs as possible, and I run around, I try to film, I try to take as many pictures as I can, and it's probably a bit too much. So I'm glad I've scouted out places, because it has helped me find them, and it's helped me work out the trail, work out where to park, and work out if Google Maps is going to take me to the wrong place before I get here. So it's definitely worthwhile doing. But maybe I need to change my New Year's resolution and change it from trying to see more and do more to maybe slowing down, taking my time, and going back to how I used to photograph a few years ago, where I would just stand at a composition that I found and wait for the sun to come down and wait for the light to change. What do you think? What do you prefer? As many images as you can get, or just one great hero shot?